Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October 15th edition of My Request. Appreciate you paying attention to the videos and watching them and making comments about the music. I really do appreciate it. Those of you that have been making requests for songs, I'll continue to try to find ways to perform those songs for you. And those of you who have been financially supporting and contributing to my little project, I really, from my heart, I appreciate it so much. I'm going to get right into it this week. I've had so many comments and people asking me for things, and I'm working on getting tracks for them. But I want to start off today. Over the past few weeks, I've had people saying, well, we really appreciate you telling us the backstory of particular recordings or different arrangements and that kind of thing. And, I've mentioned Nelson Riddle, Gordon Jenkins, Billy May, Don Costa, different great arrangers, especially for Sinatra. But this week I want to talk a little bit about one of the unsung heroes, as it were, of the big band era as far as arranging and composing. Most of you, or many of you, are familiar with the great album Sinatra at the Sands, which was recorded in 1966 with Count Basie and his orchestra, and it's held up as quite possibly the best album that Frank Sinatra ever did. And if you look at that album, you'll see it says arranged and conducted by Quincy Jones. Well, the truth of it is that many of those arrangements were handed off by Quincy Jones to a gentleman named Billy Byers. Billy Byers was a great jazz trombonist coming out of the big band era, and also just a magnificent composer and arranger. And so when guys would get really busy, and as far as arrangers, especially a guy like Quincy Jones, at that period of time he was so busy, had so many requests from Dizzy and all these different bands, including bands that he himself fronted, that he asked other arrangers to ghost write for him. And so Billy Byers, what's the proper term, was the ghostwriter for many great Sinatra recordings. And so I want to do a song from Sinatra at the Sands that Billy Byers wrote the arrangement for. And this music has a special connection to me because one of my best friends is Bryant Byers, who is the son of Billy Byers, and he's a wonderful trombone player that lives here in the Portland area. And Bryant has recorded with many bands in Los Angeles, including Frank Sinatra Jr. and Michael Feinstein, and just a whole bunch of different, Keely Smith, bunch of different bands. And so here's an arrangement of a song that Frank Sinatra, I think, recorded 5 different times. But it's one of the songs from Sinatra at the Sands. Come on, boys. Here we go. It seems we stood and talked like this before. We looked at each other in the same way then, but I can't remember where or when. The clothes you're wearing are the clothes that you wore. The smile you are smiling, you were smiling then, but I can't remember where or when. Some things that happened for the first time, they all seem to be happening again. we have met once before, and then we laughed before, also loved before. Who knows where or when? Some things that happen for the first time, they all seem to be happening once again. And so it seems that we have met before, and then we laughed before, also loved before. But who knows? Who knows where? Oh, that was a nice note there. That trumpet player left at the end. Anyway, I know Bryant will look at that, and I hope you enjoy it, Bryant. What a great song. Anyway, I've had a couple of requests actually, to play one of Harry James's great hit recordings. And this is an interesting song because Harry recorded it in 1945, and Kitty Callan was the vocalist, and it also featured an astonishing alto saxophone solo by Willie Smith. And it reached #1 in the spring of 1945. And then a couple of weeks later, Bing Crosby recorded the song and knocked Harry's recording out of first place. But later on in the year, Harry's recording made a resurgence and went back up to #1 again for a couple of weeks. And it's been said that very few recordings from the big band era typified the story of the homecoming and the soldiers and all the emotions that were going on during that period of time. There are a couple of different examples of me playing this with a big band, and also just playing it kind of a cappella on YouTube. But I had a request to do It's Been a Long, Long Time. Now, this song has had a real resurgence in popularity in the last couple of years because it's been featured in those Avengers movies. And, you know, I kind of outgrew superheroes years ago. But anyway, I don't have a track of a big band version of It's Been a Long, Long Time. But I did find a piano cover of the Harry James arrangement. And so I'm going to play Harry's solos on It's Been a Long, Long Time with piano accompaniment. And I hope you enjoy it. little different version of it. Stop. Oh, it'd be a good time for a commercial for the book. Harry James, Trumpet Icon. People have been asking me, what did you do in your time off since we've been in lockdown? I wrote a book. Actually, the information in this book I've accumulated in my feeble old brain for about 52 years. And what I've tried to do is to approach Harry's life through his music, not through any of the National Enquirer stories or any of the romances and marriages and Betty Grable and all that stuff. I just wanted to talk about Harry's music and his recordings. And I have stories in here that were submitted to me by former sidemen of Harry's band. And if you'd like to get a copy of this book, it's available on Amazon, both in paperback and in a Kindle version. And you know, it's never going to make me rich, but it's been selling right along, kind of steadily. And so anyway, check out Harry James Trumpet Icon on Amazon, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Anyway, this next song, I think I sang it once many, many years ago. It's not an easy song to sing, to be honest. But there's a gentleman, lives in Las Vegas, I think now, by the name of Artie Schreck. And Artie is one of those guys that just does everything. He's a musician. He's a composer. He's an arranger. He's a band leader. You know, I've watched him lead a Spike Jones tribute band. He's a phenomenal vibraphone player. But in 1983, he wrote a song for Frank Sinatra that Frank recorded, and it was never released on an album. It was released on a single. And this song has been hitting home to me the last few months, because I really miss performing with live musicians. I think the last time that I actually had a gig with a band was about 2.5 years ago. And so I miss performing live in front of people. But this song, Artie Schreck wrote this song, and it pays tribute to the musicians, the unsung heroes of the band business. And so it gave Frank an opportunity to honor the guys that have accompanied him both on records and in concerts for all those decades that he was a performer. And he especially mentions in the song some of the band leaders that he worked with, and also the American Federation of Musicians, the AFM. And so anyway, I'd like to do Artie's song, and this is an arrangement. You know, it depends on the source, but it was either arranged by Joe Raposo or Don Costa. It sounds a little bit more like something that Don Costa wrote. But anyway, I hope you enjoy. Listen carefully. This is probably a song you've never heard of before. That ain't it. Sorry about that. Music playing, listen to what it's saying. Throughout the years, I've made a lot of friends. Many became famous of them go nameless, but I dedicate this song to all of them. I've sung with the best, and I've had it all. I've gone from neighborhood saloons to Carnegie Hall. I've been down and out, and I've been in demand, but I wouldn't have made it without them. Here's to the band. Those magical notes, those musical pearls, I've sung with all the counts, the dukes, the kings and the earls, and the experience, I have to say, was grand, but I wouldn't have made it without them. Here's to the band. Strings soaring, horns roaring, drums pounding in my ear. To start at the ground, I reach for the top. To have such a wonderful career, I just gotta stop and turn around to thank everyone that sits on the stand, 'cause I wouldn't have made it without them. Here's to the band. Here's to those ladies and the gentlemen. Here's to the AFL. I wouldn't have made it without them. Here's to the band. Here's to the band.
I think I hate myself right here.
Man, that's a hard song. It's a good song, though. Anyway, I had a request this week from a person I assume was a female. And the reason I say that is it was one of those YouTube IDs that had like flowers and butterflies, that kind of thing. But anyway, the person asked me if I ever did any blues. Well, the blues kind of encompasses a lot of different things. And I'm pretty sure that this person had a different thought going on about what the blues are. When you think about the blues today, you're thinking of guys with guitars and loud drums and playing a whole bunch of stuff in the key of E and B and that kind of thing. But in the jazz world, the blues go all the way back to the beginning, to Louis Armstrong, and really all through the big band era. And then, of course, when the bebop music came along in the early 40s with Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker, I mean, they leaned heavily on the blues. But over the years, there have been countless thousands of recordings by big band and jazz musicians of the blues. And basically, they were melodies that were set on a 12-bar chord structure. And the blues always gave musicians an opportunity to stretch out. And there's slow blues and medium blues and fast blues. Well, anyway, here's a song that's definitely the blues. It was written by Ernie Wilkins for the Harry James Orchestra in 1958. And on this particular track, I got to turn it up a little bit because it's an old analog track. Hold on there. But anyway, you're actually going to hear the Harry James Orchestra with Ollie Mitchell on lead trumpet and Willie Smith and Sam Furniture. Sam takes a tenor sax solo. And you'll hear the magnificent James sax section led by Willie Smith. Ray Sims plays a solo on this, trombone solo. And it was all recorded without Harry. Jack Percival's on piano, Jackie Mills on drums. So I'm going to try to do this. It's really not easy because you have to listen to Maxwell Davis count off the tune, and there's silence, and then it starts. So anyway, I'm going to do my best to play Harry's version of Blues for Sale.
Blues for Sale, take 2.
Oh, if you got something stuck in your throat, that'll work it out. Anyway, Blues for Sale. Thanks. I hope the blues request is fulfilled properly. Well, it's saloon song time, and I want to do something a little different here. Last week, I recorded... Stop! I'm telling you, I gotta quit hiring my band at Walmart. Anyway, I recorded a couple of songs last week. I sang a couple of songs from the classic album I Remember Tommy with Frank Sinatra, and Cy Oliver wrote all those great arrangements. I think we did Imagination and I'll Be Seeing You. Well, this week I want to do a saloon song, a song from that album. And you know, it was interesting because all those nights that Frank Sinatra sat on the stage while Tommy Dorsey played this theme song, he never got to sing it. And finally in 1962 he got to sing I'm Getting Sentimental Over You. And this is a marvelous Cy Oliver arrangement. Never thought I'd fall, but now I hear love call. I'm getting sentimental over you. Things you say and do just thrill me through and through. I'm getting sentimental over you. I thought I was happy, thinking I could live without love. Now I must admit, love is all I'm thinking of. Won't you please be kind and just make up your mind that you'll be sweet and gentle. Be gentle with me, because I'm getting sentimental over you. I thought I was happy, I could live without love. Now I must admit, love is all that I'm thinking of. Won't you please be kind and just make up your mind that you'll be sweet and gentle. Be gentle sentimental over you. Oh, Tommy Dorsey's theme song. Let me apologize for all the technical glitches I'm having this week. I don't know. I'm going to blame it all on 2020. Anyway, I want to do another song in closing. From the same album that all these other songs I remember Tommy came from. But I just want to remind you that in the description down below this video, you'll see an email address, chuckpardoobig@yahoo.com. If you have any requests that you'd like for me to try to attempt for you, feel free to send me an email and tell me what the song is. And also, some of you have been contributing financially to my little project, and there's a PayPal address in the description if you'd care to contribute to the Old Trumpet Players Trust Fund. Me being the old trumpet player, feel free to send me a contribution on PayPal. I really will appreciate it. Anyway, here's a song from the same album, I Remember Tommy. That was another song that Frank had a hit record of with Tommy Dorsey's band, and this time done up in true Cy Oliver, Jimmy Lunsford fashion on The One I Love. Well, the one I love belonged to somebody else. She sings her tender song to somebody else. And even when I have my arms around her, I know her thoughts are strong for somebody else. Now the hands I hold, I know that they belong to somebody else. You can bet they're not so cold to somebody else. Now it's tough to be alone on a shelf, far worse to fall in love by yourself, like when the one you love belongs to somebody else. What else? I tell you, the one I love belongs to somebody else. She means her tender charms to somebody else. And even when I have my arms all around her, I know her thoughts are strong for somebody else. Now the hands I hold, I know that they belong to someone. Somebody else, you can bet they're not so cold to somebody else. Now it's tough to be alone on the shelf, far worse to fall in love by yourself, like when the one you love belongs to somebody else. Oh, we made it. Thank you for watching my videos week after week. I get so many nice responses, and I hope you really enjoy them. And remember, send me a request at my Yahoo email account. Feel free to make a contribution to my little project here. Now next week I have in mind that I'm going to do a Halloween edition of By Request. So I hope that you'll look forward to that. And as Dean Martin used to say, keep those cards and letters coming in, folks. So I hope you have a great weekend, and thanks so much for viewing. Good night.